just this past week, I hit the wall. I hit it so hard that I binged television, soothed with food, went into a sugar coma for 36 hours. My partner and I launched a program online that we did everything right. Like we thought we're gonna have brain-heart coherence, we're gonna envision, we had hired this company, we cracked the code, we were finally doing it right. And I was like, we're gonna sell 400 seats into this program. I know it, I feel it. We pulled tarot cards, we had everything set up and it was gonna happen. I felt it in every ounce of my body. We sold 9 seats. So I was pretty disappointed. And I'd hit the wall and I was just like, fuck, not again. So if I was just to position this a bit, I have been doing this work for 15 years. I have failed numerous times. I've invested over $40,000 in things. Nothing happened. I have run tons of programs, and they just were like, okay. I never hit the wall, ever. Which was so weird, because this program was this tiny little $47 product that we created. And so it didn't make sense that I would feel such enormous, helpless hopelessness. But I was done. I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm over. This is done. So at this, I have a purpose in the world. And that's what I'm going to share with you. But we all have a purpose. We all have a calling, right? Whether we know what it is or not, we all have a calling. It could be a mother. It could be a wife. It could be a friend. It could be change the world. It could be tie your shoes. Like, we all have a purpose. Some people have a really clear path to what that purpose is. And others, like me, feel like we're going down a road that's not been created yet. And it's an uphill battle. And I'd have to say over the last 15 years, it's been an uphill battle. But for some reason, I love a challenge. And so my purpose came to me when I was in clown school. I was 37, I'm 53, so it was a while ago. And I got bonked on the head when I was in clown school. And it was like a Pachenko-style clown school. It's very shamanic. It's about like really discovering your inner performer in a lot of ways to create that authenticity for the crowd. And you make these masks. You make 8 masks. You paper mache them. You color them. You put them on. You dress them. And you learn about them. And then you spin them all into one clown. But it starts out with these masks. So you're given a blindfold, and you're making the mask. The teacher whispers something in your ear, and there's 8 of them. Every single time I went into an altered state, making this mask, and I would hear this. No, I wasn't hearing it. It was like vibrating in all my cells, saying, "You will transform the consciousness of money into a conduit for love and connection." I'm like, what? I'm $40,000 in debt. How am I going to do that? So for the next 15 years, that's what I did. I threw programs. I studied everything. I had 10 books a week out of the library. I read everything. I got my CFP. I learned everything about money. I never stopped. My first company was called The Wealthy Clown. Not a lot of credibility there. But it's evolved. It's evolved. And I'm doing great work in the world. And I'm driven by it. I'm pulled by it. My mission pulls me until Friday. I was like, I'm done. And the funny thing is, after clown school, about 5 years after clown school, I had a reading by a channel, and she did a bunch of Path of Life readings. And she did this reading on me, and she channels the line that is your purpose, basically. I'm a visionary soul, and my purpose is to dedicate my luminescence to create a new consciousness among human beings and accept journeying through uncharted territory so that I could guide others to their destination. And I was like, it just hit me that uncharted territory is totally what money and energy and alignment is. And I'm pioneering primarily a new path. That's an understatement. When I first started this, there were no financial therapists in the world. There's a bunch now, but most people have no idea what that is. And talking about energy and alignment and embodiment with money was kind of a foreign concept when I first started. So it felt like I was pioneering on this road, I don't know. So I was spaghetti against the wall for years, going, oh, that's stuck. Okay, let's do that. And I never gave up. I was so fiercely committed. I knew in every ounce of my body that this is what I was supposed to do. And it was unwavering. And many of you might feel that. Has anyone here felt that place where you've had a roadblock and you're like, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing this? Yeah? Anyone? Yeah? Or you hit the wall and you're like, oh, wrong door, right? And we doubt, right? I never had a doubt until Friday. And I was just, I was crying, I was eating, I was using the fridge as my therapist, and it was like, ugh. So I wake up on Saturday morning having a sugar hangover, my eyes are swollen, I just feel, ugh, and I'm supposed to go see a client. I had a client meeting in the morning, so I'm like, okay, I gotta get my head together. So I sit and I meditate, and I'm like, oh, and all of a sudden I get this memory of a teacher once telling me that when you hit the wall and you're completely exhausted and you're about to give up, that's when you're just about to make the success. And I always heard this, but I'd never hit the wall before because I was like, no, I can do it. I come from farmer stock. I work really, really hard. But I'd never hit the wall until now. So I remember her saying that to me, and I was like, oh, so does that mean I'm really close to success? Because you know that story? Have you ever read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill? He has this story about R.U. Darby, I think, and he was digging for gold. It was during the gold rush. He had gold fever, and he used all his money. He was digging and digging and digging, hoping to find gold because someone told him there was gold there. And he just hit this fault line, and he was like, screw it. I'm done. He sold all his equipment to some junkyard man, and he left. And the junkyard man went, He hired a geologist, came, looked at the fault line, and the geologist said, oh, there's gold 3 feet on the other side of this fault line. And he was a multimillionaire. Because he knew to get the right advice. And Thomas Edison had a quote, too, about, when he was trying to find light, create light. I've not failed 1,000 times. I've successfully found 1,000 ways that will not make a light bulb. He didn't quit when the current process wasn't working. He just kept going. And so those messages were coming to me, and I'm like, okay. I just all of a sudden had this renewed kind of, okay, I can do this. So I go to this client, and it was like we had finished our work together, and they were from America, and they were visiting Victoria. So we met in a coffee shop. Never met her in real life. She's a very well-renowned psychologist, multiple doctorate degrees, published papers and everything, and I had been doing work with money with her. And so she sits in front of me, and she starts telling me a little of her story that didn't happen when we were working, where she had psychic abilities, and she had a lot of different things, and she sees things and stuff. And she was sitting, and she said, I've been working with, I've been the therapist for other therapists. I've had therapy my whole life and everything, and no one has ever been able to pinpoint what's been stopping me, and you did it. And I was like, oh, okay, so tell me more. So she was sharing what it was, which is, what she shared was me breathing, pretty much. So it just became so clear to me. And she said, you know, I listen to every podcast there is out there about money. No one's doing what you're doing. You need a podcast. You need to do all of this. And I was like, oh, okay. And I started crying, and I'm like, this is telling me I'm on the right path, okay? So it was like this feeling of truth in my being, knowing that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But I had hit the wall, and I realized that the gold was what she said to me. It wasn't multiple money in my bank account. That will come. But the gold was, she encapsulated what my purpose is here, to transform the energy of money for love and connection. And she said the relationship she has with her daughters and her husband has been transformed because of the work with money. And she was like, I didn't think money would do that. And I was just like, whoa, okay, I got it. So why I say this is that anyone pursuing their vision or their purpose or their mission needs to recognize that when you hit that wall, it means you're close. You're really, really close. And when you have breakthroughs and awakenings and changes in your being, they often happen just on the other side of the deepest struggle that you're going through. And it's like those are the moments to pay attention to. So one of the invitations I would have for everyone here is when you hit the wall, recognize the wall. Don't call it perimenopause. Don't call it burnout. Don't call it adrenal fatigue. It's a wall. And when you hit that wall, it's a sign that you're close. So don't ignore the feelings. Don't let it paralyze you to making any movement forward. Just allow yourself to see it for what it is. You are 3 feet away from gold. The second thing you should do after you hit the wall is you want to look for what's the next step. Because if it's 3 feet, what's the next step? If you can't get out of bed because you are in a sugar coma, the next step is to wake up, take care of your body, do what needs to replenish and nurture yourself so you can take the next step. And then the third thing is don't go it alone. You don't have to do it all alone. There's always people next to you that want to support you. Get a coach, talk to a friend, work with other entrepreneur couples that are doing what you're doing because they're drawn and they're driven. Other musicians that support each other and know what this is all about. So the purpose, your purpose for everyone in this room, whether you know it or not, is calling you. It's calling you. You just have to pay attention. And when you feel that deep pull, remember that you're standing just 3 feet away from the gold. And the world needs that light within all of you to shine. Thank you.